Hey everybody, I'm Ray.
And I'm Paul.
And today we have a special guest joining the Alconauts on our show.
From the home of the world's largest drive-in restaurant, Peaches, and Martin Luther King from Hotlanta, Georgia, we have Brian the Beer Snob. Brian, welcome to our show.
I'm glad to be here.
Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself so we can get a little bit acquainted to you?
I got into it like, I don't know how you guys got into it, but for me, it was the pandemic. I was sitting at home from work for 2 months. I had nothing to do, and I was going crazy. I said, you know what? I like to have a beer, and as uncomfortable as it was, I filmed myself drinking and talking about it, and I fell in love with it. So here I am almost 2 years later, and I love it because I get to talk to people from all over the world. So I'm glad to be talking to you guys up in Canada.
And we're going to learn a little bit more about Brian the Beer Snob. But before we do that, Ray, why don't you give us the tale of the tape on our beer today?
Absolutely. We've got SweetWater Brewing Company's Extra Pale Ale, and it comes in at 5.7% ABV. I'm excited for this one, Paul.
Why don't we crack these babies open, because as always,
that guy's thirsty.
Let's do it. I'm getting a lot of hoppiness coming out of this glass.
For me, it's a nice bright hop, like a Citra style hop. Or
Yeah, I'm getting citrus off of mine.
And this is a gorgeous golden, slight amber to it. Let's find out what this thing is all about. So, cheers, Brian.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, Paul.
You get that citrus flavor coming out. The hops are not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And you get a bit of a sweetness, almost like a Georgia peach sweetness coming out of this beer. It's actually not that bad. I'm enjoying this.
A little bit of hops off the front. It's very hop forward. It's on the top of my mouth when I'm tasting this one. But yeah, that hop flavor disappears. It's a really nice, crisp beer. I'm hoping that we can get this here.
I say off the nose, I got the citrus. And the thing that I like, if you're a beer drinker and you like your beer to taste like beer, you're going to be turned off by IPAs and stuff like that because those don't really taste like beer. However, I think if you drank one of these, it's going in the IPA direction, but it's not hitting you full force in the face. Because, you know, I consider some IPAs can be quite obnoxious in how flavorful they are. It's not something that a regular beer drinker would like. I think you have to kind of ease into that. And this is a perfect beer to do that because you're going to get subtlety. You're going to get those flavors without being overwhelmed with orange peels and, you know, grapefruits and stuff like that. It's a good complement to the beer flavor.
IPAs and this whole craft brewing thing, it's gotten obnoxious. I mean, I am so tired of double IPAs and triple IPAs and dry hop this and dry hop that. I know, you're surprised, Paul, I know.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
I mean, it's just the hop bomb is gone. Like, there's no reason for it anymore.
You guys seem to have a really up-and-coming, like, craft brewery scene. What's the craft brewery scene like there in Hotlanta, Georgia?
Well, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I've lived here for over 24 years, and my very first brewery that I went to was in January of this year. I don't know why I waited so long because, I mean, they each have their own little attractive draw to them. I mean, some, you know, they got food trucks, you know, so you can get any kind of food you want. You know, some had entertainment, you know, others had nice outdoor seating. It was just, it's perfect. And you're hanging out with people. Everybody's talking to everybody. It was a really great time. January, I did 6. I'm planning on doing more. There are a lot of really great breweries here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I've been drinking their beer for years. I need to go check out where these things are being brewed at because it's phenomenal.
I have to ask you a question. Brian the Beer Snob, are you truly a beer snob?
People think that I am based off of my name. This is the reason why I chose that name. Like everybody else, I think when you first get into drinking beer, you're gonna buy the cheapest stuff, the most that you can get, and that's what I did for decades. I bought the cheap stuff. To me, that was beer. I got into beer reviewing in a weird sort of way. I said beer brewing because that's true. We were walking around the mall. My wife says our anniversary's coming up, so what would you like? And they happen to have some Mr. Beer kits. It's the elementary school version of home brewing. So I started with the light stuff. Matter of fact, I've still got this this American Classic Light right here. This is their version of a Coors Light. I went through everything that they had, all the way up to the stouts. Now, if you're a light beer drinker, you're not gonna like stouts. I took my first sip and thought that was the most awful tasting thing I'd ever tasted in my life, but I had 2 gallons of it, and I wasn't gonna waste it because I wasn't raised that way. I struggled to drink it. It took a long time to drink 2 gallons of that stuff, but let me tell you, halfway through, it woke up my taste buds, and I started to appreciate the flavors that are in a stout. To me, the beers I spent so much time drinking, all those light beers, it's a way watered down version of what I like now. So when I chose the name Brian the Beer Snob, I just wanted to say that you can evolve from the light beers to enjoy the more flavorful beers. The thing is, you don't have to drink 12 beers at a sitting. I would just rather, me personally, get a full fat, full flavor, full delicious beer that's got more alcohol in it, and I'm gonna drink less of them. I'm more than happy because I'm a sipper. I'm a sipper now, not a slammer.
Well, ironically enough, I think it is time for the chug.
This is going to be my first chug in a long time. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, we're there. We are there.
So I'm going to have Ray explain the rules, but I'm going to have Ray explain the rules like he is from Hotlanta, Georgia.
All right, y'all. So it's time for the chug. We're going to throw these beers back, and I'm going to count y'all down from 3. And then y'all's going to throw them down your gullet. First one with the beers back to the table wins. All right. 3, 2, 1, and go. Ooh, Brian gave me a run on that one.
Oh.
And Paul loses.
Final reviews, gentlemen. Brian, why don't you start us off?
I love this beer, and you had mentioned it a little bit earlier about the name of it, and just last week somebody was explaining to me the meaning of the 420 beer. This 420 was the first beer that SweetWater ever made, but they brewed it on April 20th, and that's why they gave it the name 420. Oh. If we're going out of a scale of 1 to a 5, for me, for a pale ale, this is a 5, because I don't think you're gonna get a better one than that. It's a little bit more than beer, but it's not gonna be obnoxious, it's not gonna turn you off. This is gonna be the one that's gonna cause you to seek out more. I might be prejudiced because it's an Atlanta beer. I'm in Atlanta. It might have the hometown, it's got the hometown team cheering for it, but it's an outstanding beer.
I like this beer. I was so impressed with this beer. If I had a kegerator in my house, I'm putting a keg of this in my fridge. Brian the Beer Snob, this is probably his light beer now, but this would be my everyday beer. So yeah, I like it. I like the fact that there's some hops there. I like the fact that it's got a little more alcohol volume. The flavor was pleasant. It was crisp. It was clean.
All I can say is, Hotlanta, Georgia, I can feel the heat. If you're a pothead, the 420 is going to really throw you off. You get a little bit of that hoppiness smell out of the can, but really, it is a smooth drinking beer. It's very crisp. It's very clean. You've got some flavors in it. It's that step above a lager. And I think a lot of people would enjoy drinking this kind of beer. This is kind of the beer that you want to drink where you're at your local bar. I am going to say, I would get a keg of this stuff. I can't believe I'm saying that, but This is a really good beer. Like, it's not an IPA. It's kind of that in-between to say that if I was a beer snob, I would enjoy this. Brian, we want to thank you for being on our show. This has been absolutely fantastic. And to thank you, we want you to take the floor and tell our audience how they can reach you, how they can find you, and how can they support you.
I am Brian the Beer Snob on most all of the social medias. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and obviously on YouTube. I like to make content that you're going to enjoy, because I can tell you what, I watched a lot of beer reviewers who quite frankly bored me out of my mind, which is why I'm not above, okay, I don't have a lot of hair. I don't. But I'm not above putting a wig on in my videos. I will act stupid. I will do dumb things, but it's all for the entertainment for you guys, the viewers. I'm always open to suggestions. I love to do collaborations. I'm just here to put out a nice video and drink some beer with some great people, because I've just found so many great people like you two to just sit and have a beer with. Here I am in my basement drinking a beer, not by myself. I'm drinking one with you guys, and I'm drinking one with all of your viewers. And I tell you what, There's no place I'd rather be.
We are so honored that you joined us today, Brian. It's been a blast.
Brian, amazing to have you on the show. And with that being said, I'm Paul.
I'm Ray.
And this is Brian.
And we are the Alconauts.
Take care.
Cheers, all.
Cheers, everyone.